Hello everyone, welcome back to the International Security course. Today we will continue with Chapter 5, Alliances and Military Security Cooperation. We will firstly talk about the definition, characteristics, functions and typologies of alliances, then theories of alliances and security cooperation, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the NATO principles, and the main organization structure, and lastly, NATO's tasks and operations. Let's start with the definition, characteristics, functions, and typologies of alliances. An alliance is a formal agreement that pledges states to cooperate in using their military resources against a specific state or states, and usually obligates one or more of the signatories to use force or to consider the use of force in a specified circumstance. It is normally a written and mostly voluntary agreement, treaty, or convention among states pledging to coordinate their behavior and policies in the contingency of military conflict. If the states perceive a vital threat, the bonds among the members of an alliance get tougher. Alliances are arrangements between states and, in some cases, independent authorities other than the states. In fact, it doesn't matter whether a state is formally recognized in the international community. Alliances are also explicit agreements. Nevertheless, explicitness of an alliance agreement doesn't necessarily mean that the agreement is made by a formal treaty or declared to other states and registered within the United Nations. Rather, parties to the alliance themselves must be definitely sure about the existence of the agreement as well as its assurances and benefits. Let's move on to theories of alliances and security cooperation. Several factors have substantial impact on forming alliances and security cooperation. Scholars, taking such factors into consideration, have attempted at developing various theories toward explaining the alliance formation, the nature of alliances, and the performances of alliances. The classical realist theory of alliance formation is known as the balance of power theory. The concept of equilibrium is the synonym for balance, and it is used in both natural and social sciences such as physics, biology, economics, sociology, and political science. Whenever the existing balance is disturbed by an outside force or by a sudden change, the system tries to turn to its original status or re-establish a new equilibrium. The balance of power theory, however, is not exempt from criticism. Some scholars argue that the balance of power theory may have an explanatory power under certain historical conditions, so they presented another theory of alliance, the balance of threat. The balance of threat theory takes into account factors such as geographic proximity, offensive capabilities, and perceived intentions in forming alliances. The theories of balance of power and balance of threat mainly focus on the behavior of threatened states, ignoring the behavior of unthreatened states. However, one may give several examples where also unthreatened states formed alliances. So, scholars have pointed to this behavior of states and come up with a theory of balance of interests. Contrary to the balancing behavior claimed by realist theorists, scholars argue that states tend to bandwagon for profit. Let's now talk about the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. NATO is an alliance that provides security for its members. NATO is an international organization where each member maintains its political sovereignty. All NATO decisions are taken jointly based on the agreement of each member country. In other words, NATO takes its decisions unanimously. Its members are states parties to the founding of North Atlantic Treaty, which is also referred to as the Washington Treaty. Soon after the Second World War had ended, several disagreements emerged among the allied powers of the war, namely the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union. Especially, they failed to reach an agreement on the post-war international order. The Soviet Union started to dominate the Eastern Europe by imposing socialist ideology on the regional powers and expanded its sphere of influence. This was opposed, however, by the Western powers, including the US. As a result, the US decided to form an alliance to minimize the Soviet influence in Europe and get prepared for a possible attack by the socialist communist states. Let's look into the NATO principles and the main organizational structure. NATO aims at guaranteeing the freedom and security of its members through political and military means. The rationale of NATO is to provide security for its members. Moreover, NATO works to promote democratic values and enables members to consult and cooperate on defense and security-related issues to solve problems, build trust, and in the long run, prevent conflict. NATO is committed to the principle that an attack against one or several of its members is considered as an attack against all. This is the principle of collective defense, which is enshrined in Article 4 of the Washington Treaty. Every day, member countries consult and take decisions on security issues at all levels and in a variety of fields. A NATO decision is the expression of the collective will of all 29 member states, since all decisions are taken by consensus. The NATO delegations consist of civilian officials working at the main NATO headquarters in Brussels, whereas military representatives mainly include military officials. Each member country has a permanent delegation at NATO's political headquarters in Brussels. Each delegation is headed by an ambassador who represents his or her government in the alliance's consultation and decision-making process. And lastly, we should talk about NATO's tasks and operations. New and emerging security threats, especially since 9/11 terrorist attacks, NATO's crisis management experience in the Balkans and Afghanistan, and the value and importance of working with partners from across the globe all drove NATO to reassess and review its strategic posture. The 2010 strategic concept, active engagement, modern defense, is a very clear and resolute statement on NATO's core tasks and principles, its values, the evolving security environment, and the alliance's strategic objectives for the next decade. NATO is an active and leading contributor to peace and security on the international stage. It promotes democratic values and is committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes. However, if democratic efforts fail, it has the military capacity needed to undertake crisis management operations alone or in cooperation with other countries and international organizations. As of 2018, approximately 20,000 military personnel are engaged in NATO missions around the world. NATO is leading operations in Afghanistan, Kosovo, and the Mediterranean. NATO is also supporting the African Union and conducting air policing missions on the request of its allies. Furthermore, NATO is assisting with the response to the refugee and migrant crisis in Europe and has Patriot missiles and AWACS aircraft deployed in Turkey. So, this is the end of our program for Chapter 5 of the International Security course. Goodbye and see you in our next program, Chapter 6.